Hey friends, welcome to a very special episode of Stryperdrive. I'm one of your hosts, Kent, along with my co-host,
Mike.
And friends, you know our buddy, Pastor Ron Campbell. Welcome back, Ron. Good to have you, my friend.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. And friends out there, our other co-host, Rex, he's away on special assignment right now. So anyway, Pastor Ron's back with us, and he has always been very transparent and wanted to get information out as it's been made available to him with regard to the Stryper battle van. We know that between COVID and cargo ships and carrier shortages, things have kind of been delayed. So, Pastor Ron, we're here with you, and thanks for being here again. And just what can you tell us, and what do you wish to tell us about the where we're at with the Stryper battle van?
Well, I like to jump right out of the firing line and get into the party. So there is a lot of exciting things I want to share. When we last update I had, we were expecting to have a visuals of a 3D finished product by March. And that's what went out to Patreon members and in an e-blast Stryper fans, and just didn't happen. And was really, as you can imagine, concerned as weeks turned into months, and trying to get some kind of answers. And I'd also told you that there was a die that got crushed or destroyed in one of the makings of one of the smaller pieces, but that got remedied, and we ended up getting 3D visuals of what would be the finished piece to kind of get final blessing to go into production in mid-August. And at that time, I'm looking at it, I'm making some tweaks, but they then said, do you want to see this in person? So what do you think my answer was? So 2 weeks later, we went from this to this. So this right here, my friends, is legit. So, and as you can see, it's shiny like car paint, like we said. The grill is on here. It's got the spoiler up top. You go all the way around. Now you got to understand, past this, this is all we've ever seen. That's all we've ever seen. And really, the front was blocked off in the photo. So that's all we ever saw. But we had to go back and reverse engineer based on second shots and things that the band had shot to put this piece together, which is accurate. This side is pretty much a strong guesstimate as to what was believed to be there. We do have the other side based on all the movie footage of it, and we would assume it would be a mere clone in some degrees, other than it had a sliding door on that side. This would have been a educated guess. What this hole up here, that is just part of the die making process. That'll be filled, smoothed out, and painted. That won't be there. In this prototype, there are some, it's hard to see, but there's a little divot up in here that gets taken out of the mold that will be finished out. Here's what I will say, so people understand. So you've got the two vans. The one up top is shot at nighttime. So that goldeny yellow color is not accurate to how it was. This is how it would have been. We have too many historical record images that tell us it was more of the true Stryper yellow. When we see it here, we actually have the Stryper logo up top that's more the traditional yellow, and then down here it's more of a goldenrod yellow. that is just the nature of shooting at night. We talked to John Scarpati, the photographer. He agrees this is this. Now you're going to have some fans that go, I want that. I want to be able to sit the album cover next to it and it look identical. Well, that's great, but that's not accurate. We wanted it to be accurate to what the real van was. So this is what the real van would have been. Through lots of conversations with lots of influencers on this project, we decided to stay with what was true to the original rather than what the camera caught in the photograph, because or else you'd have the orange and black attack. So none of us would want that. I will say these siren lights are going to be a little more oranger than what they are now. That's kind of the main tweak in color to this. I'm trying to look here if there's anything else that is, the wheels move. So it's rolling thunder. And I did not expect, but I had made a comment one point, and you can see that little divot up there in the black window. That'll be burnished out. But here, these little rivets, I had just said they should be technically a silver. They are in the album cover, never thinking they'd go in and paint every darn little one, and they did. So, I guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So this spoiler is not actually really visible in the photo, but when you go into Photoshop and you adjust the Photoshop layers, it pops out and you can see that there was a spoiler on this thing, and it's crystal clear. So there's some, this is painstakingly, down to the door handles. Michael's body covers the door handle in the photo. So, but we go back to what a Ford Econoline modified would have looked like. That's what it would have looked like. So a lot of, guesstimate on what this could be. There's some little imperfections in the grill that are being fixed and stuff in the stamping that we've called out, but surely not disappointed by this at all. Very pleased with it. It's going to look gorgeous. I think people that, that's a great angle right there. Look at that. That's a great heroic angle. But people aren't going to be disappointed. Those who bought two are going to be happy to be able to take one out and roll it around, and one to keep in the box. It's awesome that we have two little howitzer missiles that go right on the side, like stood next to Oz. And then we've got the machine gun that goes on top of the van. So, like so. There's actually a little ribbon of, ammo sticking out of it, if you can see it there. So, it lays exactly like it does on the album cover. Exactly. So the only thing missing from this packaging are the four guys. So, these are there, and just beyond thrilled. And when this arrived, it just said, this is happening. This is happening. We're getting really close. The final box art. Well, let me do this. I'm going to screen share real quick, and I'm going to bring up just some imagery here that can you see this here?
Yep.
Okay, so these are just kind of some quick shots. These are what they sent me. Now, this is before the rivets were painted and on the window, on the big black window. But this kind of was what they sent me just for approval. Do you see my mouse move around, or does it not show that?
We see
It
it.
shows it. Yeah.
Okay, so you see like this imperfection in the black line under the window, things like that, or little detail things we call out and, suggest to them. There was some modeling up here in this missile launcher, pseudo missile launcher, that had looked rough. We said that needs to be shiny. They got that dialed in on so the prototype I just held up is different than this one. It was another one pulled. And then the bottom of a lot of the legalese and stuff will be printed on the bottom. So I will I think this is a beast. This is a beast. This is pretty sweet. And I will shift screens here. Let me see here. I will also show you Packaging. So packaging is off to the races, all off being made. This is kind of the entire box flat, and you know, this is the main display window, and over here is a side and a side in the back, and you know, in the background we have kind of their you know, black on black striping like you'd see on amps and things. But the inside of the box is what's really fun. The inside of the box, I mean, again, this album cover was shot in the parking lot of a Baptist church at night. What
is that the parking lot of the Baptist church at night?
Well, what we didn't want to just put a black background.
Armageddon going on.
It's Los Angeles on fire is what it is, because that's what they did when they landed and started tearing up Southern California. Yeah. They put the whole town on fire. Yeah. So that's where the battle began. So it's Los Angeles. You can see the palm trees. You can see destruction, debris flying. We just thought that would be a fun diorama to be the setting for the van. You know, just thinking of how toys were packaged when we were kids, and you'd get something from Kenner. You know, just adding some fun and creative license to it. When you get into the packaging up close, you know, all this you know, text is translated by Mark Joseph, who brought Stryper to Japan for the very first time. So he did all the translation, and he's fluent in Japanese and American. And so he, you know, this says soldiers under command up here. This says battle van. But that's all been, you know, we've run it by many people, because, you know, some of the words when translated translate differently. So we made sure that anyone who reads it from Japan, it translates exactly what we wanted to translate. This would be your main display window. Right here that you'd be peering into. But what's neat is on the left side, the window wraps. So the plastic will actually bend almost like a seamless window that goes around the corner. And on this side, which is really cool, these sun rays here, this rising sun will be, the reason it's muted is it will be all in metallic gold. It will be in a foil gold. This word Stryper here and this word battle van here that's in like a gray, that will be in a silver foil. So it will be gaudy like true authentic Asian packaging is many times. So this will be, and I'll get into a little deeper. I'm not going to reveal the back. I'm going to leave that as a surprise for everybody. You got a little bit of a glimpse of it back there, but I'm going to leave the what's on the back is more of a surprise. So, but this is how, when you get it and pull it right out, if you don't turn it in an angle, that's how this whole thing will sit inside and look. And you'll see the missiles will be in place, jockeyed like they are on the album cover. You'll have the gun somehow resting on top. I think there'll be a plastic thing to hold it in place, but they're trying to figure out how to put all these things in there, not move in shipment, and arrive and be opened like how we saw it on the album cover. And I think part of the reason we did the corner window is so you could turn it in 3/4 like the way we saw it in the album cover and get a little hint of the hood and whatnot, just what the fan would want. So, you know, if you pull it out, that's what you're going to see right there. And this I don't have it in here. I had a foil breakout. It's not on here for some reason, so I don't know why it's not here. Let me look here. But I think the next biggest question that people have is, love it. How soon till we get it? We were told it would ship in November. That's what we were told. Here's the problem. I say to them, is that shipping to us, leaving your ports and heading to our ports? Or is that arriving in my office? Which is that? They have not given me that clear answer. I will say this, and it's the level set expectation here to be realistic. We've all come this far, so we need to be aware We are in an unprecedented time. This is a photo right here of the ships offshore. These ships are hauling a payload like this. So it's out of control. I mean, each one of those is what you see on the back of an 18-wheel semi. So, we're watching cargo and logistic maps every couple days. I'm sharing these with Michael and Lisa. You can see here how, you've got all these ships off the West Coast and also down the East Coast. Now, Florida has offered to open up their ports and ships migrate down there. They said they're ready to unload ships and get them in just to try to make Christmas shopping and gifts arrive on time. But what we are seeing is the headlines of record number of container ships waiting off ports of Long Beach. We're getting things, yikes, 500,000 backlog cargo ships off New York, California coast face another 4-week wait. And so this is the reality where we're at. We have a liaison who has done toys like this. He's actually won the independent toy contest like 4 times straight, like the global #1 independent toy contest. He's won it like 4 times, and he's our liaison to the factory. I told you how he kind of educated me to what I didn't know during COVID. Like, you're only supposed to have 3 revision phases, and I had 30. And he and his sculptor were like super frustrated with me. And he was mocking me, and he said to me at that time, I shouldn't say mocking, but he was saying to me, I've produced 3 toys while you've been working on this one. Well, here's the reality. His 3 toys have been sitting in Long Beach Harbor on a ship since June. So they're done. They haven't gotten off that ship since June. He's got bill of lading that says it's sitting there and it hasn't been unloaded. The same point, what we're also learning up until just a couple days ago, the story that was making it out to the mainstream media to us was because of people not going back to work or not wanting to work, these cranes aren't operating. These ships are not being unloaded. There's semis waiting in parking lots, for blocks and blocks and blocks from the ports waiting to load up, and there's no one there to unload them. That is not true. That is not what is happening. Those ships are being unloaded as fast as they can. The problem is, because people sat at home, did not spend their money going to Disney, there was no travel, there was no air travel, and everybody got the stimulus money, people were buying and buying and buying on Amazon, buying on eBay, buying wherever. The problem with the backload of these ships is just the deluge of orders coming in. That's the problem. It's not workers, it's not no one there running the cranes. That's not accurate. All the ports are working crazy speed. People who are dropping things on Facebook with their cell phone saying, I'm out here and these truckers are out here and these cranes aren't working. They're people that don't know what they're talking about. We're talking right at the cargo level, and they're all being unloaded. But there's just too much stuff coming in. It's not just your goods, it's your neighbor's goods. It's your neighborhood's goods. It's your city's goods, your state goods, your nation's goods. You want to go to Lowe's and see products on the shelf. You want to go to Walgreens and see products on the shelf. They get first dibs over the Stryper van. They just do, because they have the buying power. Walmart has the buying power. So they command and demand. We saw that there was White House conversations with Amazon, with Walmart, and others this week to step up delivery and to assist post office and whatnot in delivery of things. And so all of them, FedEx included, went to 24-hour movement of everything. All offices are moving full tilt 24/7. So it's not a matter of people not there to unload my buddy's 3 toys. It's my buddy's 3 toys are like a couple hundred. And, you've got Lowe's sitting there saying you have, 10 containers of Hoover vacuum cleaners. We need those. Best Buy saying we've got monitors that people are waiting on, get those here, Apple monitors. So that's the reality of what it is. It's supply and demand. And there's only a handful of us that demanded this battle van, and our voice is a little small. But the fact that the factory is talking to us, the fact that the factory is shipping us prototypes says they realize, and they're trying to satisfy everybody as quickly as they can. So we've hung in there this long. Hopefully everybody finds this update exciting, but I'm expecting to have some kind of shipping date in the next couple days. By the time this drops, Patreon members should already be aware of what's happening. There should be an e-blast going out to Stryper fans that will coincide with this video that we're filming today. But any questions that you guys have after seeing this?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Ron, for a very informative and wonderful presentation. I know that these were pre-orders and all that. Can anybody still order this fan if they wish to, or is it completely cinched up now?
I will say this. This is what I knew was going to happen. I alerted people every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked people how many want this van, and 4,000 people said, give it to us. 4,000 people didn't come forward. I then said, if we can hit 777 of you to commit, I'm going to give away a Jackson replica guitar. We didn't sell 777 of them.
Right.
And I gave plenty of alerts to everyone. Now that we have to reduce the ceiling to hit our order and to make a commitment to the factory, those of you who haven't stepped forward, you're just, unfortunately, it's that old adage that was coined ages ago, you snooze, you lose. And I think that's where we're at. I think everybody that got one of these, and when it's all over, I'll share how many we actually sold, and everybody will realize how prized these are. Everybody will know they have a U.S. savings bond they can save up for a rainy day, that when they put it up on eBay, it will go, and people will be offering you private deals offsite. Don't ever bid it now on it or buy it now. Don't ever add that. You'll cheat yourself. I think these things are going to be valuable. So I would say the overage that we have is to handle damage, true damage, and people will have to provide a proof of the box damage. There isn't going to be, oh, my bullets on the side of the gun broke off. Well, that's probably because you bent it and broke it. But if the shipping box is damaged, then we will have a conversation, and we've got a handful to deal with that. But we've got the box that it comes in. That box goes into a shipper that comes with it. That shipper goes into another layer of packaging. So this is protected, collectible level protection. So if it comes to you in damage, the box should be able to take a little bit of a beating. The postal guy should be able to play soccer with your package, and your box inside still make it to you safely. If it doesn't, then we have a conversation. But no, there should not be a heavy amount of returns. There shouldn't be a heavy amount of surplus laying around. If there is a surplus after the dust settles, there might be a handful that get made that are offered up, but they will not be $99. And I'm just telling everybody there that now. That's the cost of waiting. If you choose not to sit on the 101 traffic and you go down the carpool lane, that's the chance you take. It's a $500, $1,000 ticket, and you're one guy in a car. So the ticket price, the admission price goes up a bit for all the rest that stomached the wait. And but other than that, I'm really thrilled. When each step, I'm like, my goodness, this is really going to happen. Yeah. You don't think I haven't had fears along the way? Absolutely, I have.
Yeah. My question would be, is there any thought to do action figures at some point to go along with this?
So I made yes, but again, it's all dependent upon the fan's stomach to do something. Yeah. I made a comment one day in frustration here at the office. I always wanted to get in the toy business. I'll never do this again. That's probably what Brett Christensen felt after he did the book. I'll never do a coffee table book again. But then several people in my organization came to me and said, don't let this pandemic, don't let this shipping situation hold us back from doing other things like this. Don't do that. It's been an unprecedented situation. Don't let your frustration with the process blind you to the possibility. And I think there's a lot to that. So once this is done, once it's shipped, once the glowing reviews have come in, this rocks, then we may have, there could be some more adoption to future products once people see, hey, it really did happen. Yeah. There isn't a fear that, I wished I had a battle van and I don't.
Ron, you've always been, this is, I believe, the third, and we could have done more, but this is the third installment of transparency and interviews you've done with us, because you've always come forward and said, hey, I'd like to let the people know where we're at. So we appreciate you for that. We have, of course, the battle van will be here in due time. We're all just waiting it out, but we know it's coming. As Mike mentioned, and I've mentioned before too, we need those action figures. And how about that Stryper copter from the Always There For You video?
I'd like to see that. I've got everything ready to go for it. I've got so many images of it that you guys have never seen. I've got every angle of that. And that was something on my wish list, like a giant G.I. Joe copter, like where they were oversized for the 12-inch figures,
Yeah.
I mean, it would almost have to be in 1/18 scale so it could sit alongside his van and not look silly. But that would be great. There's actually another Stripe. There's of course a Stryper limousine that Darren purchased, and that's what they traveled in. I've got a lot of photos of that. There was also a little Stryper kind of what was it? Maybe a Celica or something. It was a little 4-door sedan that they'd take to places, and I've got a lot of photos of that too.
Cool.
That was all yellow and black. I've got a picture of them and Matt
Stryper Celica.
Leather Wolf. Yeah, it's something. It's a simple sedan, but I've got pictures of Stryper and Matt Urich from Leather Wolf out in front of that car, and I've got some neat things.
And let's not forget, and being a little silly, but also being a little serious here, because I'm thinking about my old Mego Batman toys back in the 70s. But Perry has the Stryper motorcycle. Remember that the gentleman
yes
done. And so honestly, that could be a very and you talk about digging a little deeper. That could be something that's meaningful to that family, with the whole situation behind that.
Sure.
It's also a neat little addition, maybe.
Yeah. No, I think it's great.
So I think we've determined
every Batmobile needs a bat cycle.
That's right. So we've determined, Ron, that there are other Stryper projects that you are at least looking at that maybe we could in the future in due time, and hopefully things will settle. May the Lord's will be done, but other projects potentially in the works, and a possible November shipping. Now, as to what the shipping means, as you mentioned, that's contingent upon the shippers, but we're looking at possibly movement in November forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's reality, and we all know what Christmas gets like, certainly in our country.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's unprecedented about this. It would be one thing if it was isolated to the U.S. The issue is global.
Mm-hmm.
It's a global problem, and it's unprecedented because, as I said in our first podcast, the only other time I know of that the whole planet shut down was during the flood. That's it. I mean, other pandemics were isolated to countries. Other financial things were isolated to countries. Never have I seen the whole planet come to a screeching halt simultaneously. Other countries might have been affected by our Great Depression, but they kept moving. They had their own economies. They may have been more dismal economies, but nonetheless, they were economies. Never have we seen what we've watched. So everybody's trying to figure it out as they go and not always getting it right. So, but the fact that, I just saw a report this morning that said it's a year till we see supply chain resolved. So And I mean, I went to Lowe's yesterday to buy a quart of paint. You know, it's that big, just to do some touch up. There was no quarts of paint there. No quart. There's no quarts of paint.
Yeah.
And it's not because there's a rush on paint like paper towels. There's just no paint.
Right.
So I have a buddy who has a painting business, and he goes to buy the big 5-gallon things for commercial jobs. No 5 gallons. There's no 5 gallons of commercial paint. Now, here's the funny thing. We were supposed to commence a bathroom remodel in our home June 1. It just began October 1. The last piece arrived. It just commenced. And when I called the last vendor that we were waiting on the product, they said, here's the problem. The housing market blew up to where people are buying homes at a breakneck pace, buying furniture at a breakneck pace. Supply chain is not replenishing. There's no furniture. So these people have these kicking homes and no furniture to put in them.
Yeah.
It's not just you.
Right.
You know, you're waiting on a sink and a vanity. There's people waiting for 8 bedrooms worth of furniture and can't get it. They're sleeping on mattresses on the floor. So, you know, it's just, I think we've all got to give grace to one another and kind of work together and get to the finish line. But if this was not moving forward, I don't think they would have bothered shipping this thing to me. I think they have every intention to fulfill the commitment. And certainly the granular level of detail on this is beyond to my level. Any Stryper van that nitpicks this needs to just go carve their own.
Well,
there's a lot of love and passion in this piece.
You've it looks great what you've shown us, Ron, and you've always been transparent. I think there's no questions there about integrity from your end. We all understand. So I know you're kind of pressed for time, as you mentioned. Mike, anything else, buddy?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, Pastor Ron, anything else you want to share?
No, thank you for the forum. Appreciate what you guys do. Best wishes to all your followers as we go into the holidays. And got to be strong. Keep the fire burning.
That's right.
Do more Stryperdrive.
Oh, so I can't remember the verse of scripture, but a word came to my mind when we were talking about this, and it's be anxious for nothing.
That's good. Perfect. But in everything, give thanks.
So, friends out there, this was a little special episode. Just wanted to keep everybody informed on Stryperdrive, and thanks everybody for watching. Pastor Ron, before we all completely vamoose from here, I'm going to end this, but stick around for one more minute, okay?
Sure. Be blessed,
All right.
guys.
Okay.